Okay, so this is the speedometer off an X18 and a lot of the 110cc pocket bikes. If your speedometer looks like anything like this, it probably is just like this one. Has your speed sensor and readout, has a battery indicator, high and low. Over here has your gear indicator, your signals, high and low beam, which don't work, gas indicator, which doesn't work, and neutral light, which doesn't work. How the neutral light works, if you don't know, is when the bike's in neutral, this thing's supposed to light up. Usually most actual bikes don't have the gear indicator, they just have the neutral indicator. Alright, the funny thing is, give me a second. Funny thing is that they could actually work if the sensors were attached at the other end, because they do have the wires properly attached to them, but then no sensors to receive the information. Sorry. Ugh. Let's see if I can't take it out. Alright, so can't see it that well, but all the wires are connected to show you those things, but even though they're connected and they go all the way down, at the other end there's nothing to receive them. Alright, moving on from that malfunction, let's move on to the speedometer of this thing. Most places you go to buy one of these will tell you, it'll do 60, 65 plus, and then underneath it with modifications. It's like, no, not with modifications, with a ton of modifications and a ton of money spent. But with a speedometer, it's safe to do this, it'll go back to 0. With a speedometer, they say, oh yeah, 65, 60, even some sites say 70. Alright, well, let's see what happens when we get close to 60. It's already starting to get harder. Do you hear that clicking? Right before it hits 60. Something's stopping it. Something won't let my finger push it further than that. Yes, I could push it harder, and I could make the speedometer reach 60. But the truth is that you riding this bike, you'll never get past 60. Even if you have all the modifications, you're not going to get past 60. Just because this thing won't let you. Let's take a look at the back of this thing. So, as I move the speedometer, this sensor back here moves to tell me the speed. See? As I move it, it's positioned so it tells you the speed. This down here is what moves the needle. Okay? So, when you move the needle, you get to a stopping point where there's just needle can't go any further. Sorry, I let it go just right now. But the needle can't go any further. It just cannot go any further because that's where the sensor stops. You can't read any higher than that. And where is that? Right before 60. See? That's what makes the clicking noise. So even though sorry about that. Got a text message, it kind of messed up the previous video, but so even though they advertise it being able to do 60, 65, 70 with modifications, right, with a lot of money, with a ton of money spent, it'll do 60 plus. Even if you spend all that money, the speedometer is never going to tell you that. And it says 70, but it stops right before 60. It stops right about here 60. It stops right above it when you push this thing. And yes, if I wanted to force it, I could force it to go to 70, but then I would break it. I can even show you that now. See how it's at 0 now, right? I'm going to mess up the speedometer, but whatever. I'm going to probably get a new one. See? Hear the clicking noise? Alright, now I'm going to push it to 70. Push to 70. Let's see where it goes. See, now it's broken. Now the speedometer is broken. Now it can go past to 70, but it won't go back to 0. That's what I've been trying to tell you guys. I hope now you understand a little bit more how this thing works. I'm going to see if I can fix this. Yeah, so 70 plus, definitely not going to happen on this speedometer. It might happen, and I know people have done that, but this speedometer won't tell you if you're going faster than 60. Even then, sometimes the speedometer will not even give you an accurate speed. So these speedometers for telling your actual speed aren't very good. I recommend you changing it out for something else, or just right next to a car to see what this thing tells you versus what the car is actually going. That's actually what I've done, and usually this thing is either too high or too low. It's never really the same. But thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the next video.